Okay, so when you hear the name Ras Laffan, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, it's natural gas. And, you're not wrong. It's an absolute giant in the energy world. But the real story here is so much bigger, way more complex, and honestly, a lot more interesting than just gas. So let's get into it. First, let's just try to get our heads around the sheer scale of this place. Ras Laffan Industrial City is 295 square kilometers. Now, to put that into perspective, that's about a third of the size of New York City. So we're not talking about a factory here. This is a sprawling, purpose-built metropolis dedicated entirely to energy. So yeah, it's the gas capital of the world. We know that. But what does that really mean? What is actually going on inside this massive industrial zone? Well, the answer is a story of incredible chemical transformation, where one single resource gets turned into this amazing variety of products that literally power and build our modern world. And that's really the big question we're tackling here.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the secret behind this whole operation. Then we'll get into its main business, which is LNG. From there, we'll see how they turn gas into gold, check out some really unexpected exports, and see how it powers an entire nation before we tie it all together into one big picture.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this incredible geological treasure that's hidden just offshore. It's the foundation that this entire city is built on. And that treasure is the North Field. Look, this thing is a monster. Discovered back in 1971, it is the single largest non-associated natural gas field on the entire planet. We're talking over 900 trillion cubic feet of recoverable gas. This is the engine that drives every single thing we're about to talk about. Okay, so having all that gas is one thing, but getting it to the rest of the world, that's a whole other challenge. And that takes some seriously cool technology. And this is what the city is famous for: liquefied natural gas, or LNG. By chilling natural gas down to a mind-boggling minus 162 degrees Celsius, its volume shrinks 600 times. It goes from being a gas to a liquid, which means you can load it onto these huge ships and send it pretty much anywhere in the world. This is the tech that basically unlocked the global gas market. And you can see from this timeline that this was all part of a bigger plan. It wasn't random. They start with the port, get the first LNG plant going, but then they don't stop. A decade later, they build their first gas-to-liquids plant. Then, by 2011, they're running these massive LNG megatrains right next to the world's largest GTL plant. It just shows this clear strategy. Don't just sell the raw stuff. Keep innovating to squeeze more and more value out of it. But this is where the real alchemy starts. This is where we move beyond just processing gas into some really advanced chemical engineering. Because look, for an operation on this scale, just chilling and shipping gas isn't enough. The real genius of Ras Laffan is what it does next. It's about taking the molecules of natural gas and basically re-engineering them into brand new, much more valuable products.
And the key technology here is gas to liquids, or GTL. Now, this isn't just making gas cold. No, this is next-level stuff. It's a super complex chemical process that breaks natural gas apart and then reassembles it into these incredibly pure synthetic liquid fuels. They're so clean, they can actually improve engine performance and cut down on emissions.
And at the heart of all this is the Pearl GTL facility, the largest of its kind anywhere in the world. Every single day, it takes in 1.6 billion cubic feet of gas and turns it into 140,000 barrels of really high-value stuff, things like naphtha for the chemical industry, ultra-clean gas oil, and base oils for high-end engine lubricants. And the diversification just keeps on going. The city is also home to the Laffan refinery. This plant takes something called condensate. It's a very light oil that comes up with the natural gas, and it refines that into even more fuels we depend on every day, like jet fuel and diesel. This brings us to a core philosophy at Ras Laffan. Absolutely nothing is wasted. The goal here is to get value from every single molecule that comes out of the ground, and that leads to some pretty surprising and valuable exports. So during all this processing, heavier gases called natural gas liquids, or NGLs, get separated out. Well, they take those and split them into propane and butane. Yep, what most of us know as LPG for our barbecues. And to purify the gas, you have to remove sulfur. But instead of being waste, they turn it into solid pellets and export it to make fertilizer. Even ethane gas gets captured and used as the basic building block for the entire plastics industry. But maybe the most surprising product to come out of this entire city isn't something you can burn for energy at all. It's something way more specialized. It's liquid helium. Seriously, Turns out the natural gas from the North Field contains a small but really valuable amount of helium, so the massive plants in Ras Laffan are designed to capture it and purify it, which has made Qatar one of the world's biggest suppliers. And we're not talking about party balloons here. This is ultra-pure liquid helium that is absolutely essential for cooling the magnets and MRI scanners and for a ton of other high-tech research.
Okay, so you've got this incredible array of products, but how do you get them to market? And how does this massive city support the very country it's in? Well, that requires infrastructure on a truly epic scale.
First thing to know, not everything gets put on a ship. A huge portion of the processed gas is sent right into Qatar's own domestic pipeline network. This gas is the absolute lifeblood for the country. It powers the electricity grid, and crucially, the desalination plants that provide fresh water.
For everything else, there's this, the port of Ras Laffan. And this isn't just any port. It is the largest artificial harbor on Earth, built from scratch specifically to handle the sheer volume and crazy diversity of products flowing out of this city.
And just look at this. This gives you an idea of the incredible range of stuff moving through its 33 specialized berths every single day. It's not just one product, it is a whole portfolio. You've got liquefied gases, advanced synthetic fuels, refined fuels, petrochemicals, industrial byproducts like sulfur, and even that high-tech liquid helium. It's a complete energy and chemical export hub, and it all comes from that one source.
So when you put all of these pieces together, you start to see that Ras Laffan isn't just a collection of factories. It's actually something much, much more sophisticated.
It's a fully integrated value chain. It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. It starts with one massive source, the North Field. That gas feeds into a complex, super diversified system of processing plants. And then, finally, that whole slate of products gets sent out to the world through one giant artery, the port of Ras Laffan. It's an amazing model of how to get the maximum possible value from a single resource. But, it also brings up a pretty big question for the future. As the global energy landscape starts to shift, how will these massive, integrated industrial hubs that are built on a foundation of natural gas, how will they evolve and adapt to power the next generation? That's really something to think about, isn't it?